We're at the PBA World Championship in Toledo, Ohio. It began with 284 players vying for the biggest purse in PBA history. It is an arduous task to advance to the finals. With more on that, here's Leslie Goodell.
Thank you, Ron. Some of the greatest names in bowling history were here this week to take on that task. The 284 entries were a season high, going for a PBA Tour record total purse of $402,000. The week started with 18 games that reduced the field to 64. 9 games in the field would be cut in half to 32, where head-to-head match play competition would begin. The highlight of the round of 64 was from the youngster Kip Roberts, who bowled a 300 en route to earning a spot in the round of 32. Jeff Lizzie needed a strike to gain a spot, but fell short. Meanwhile, Brian Voss dominated, earning the #1 seed.
Well, it's nice to say that you're leading. You know, there was 280 some odd bowlers here, and to be able to stand here and say that means you've been bowling good and you had a good week. But the significance of it, it's game on now. Start all over, bowl your match, win you advance, lose you go home. So there's no holding back. I mean, you got to be sharp, and I feel like I'm real sharp.
Voss continued his domination in the next round, going 4-0 to advance to the Sweet 16. The big comeback came from Randy Peterson. Down 3-1 to Steve Hoskins, Randy rallied to advance. But the marquee matchup was set after Tommy DeLutz Jr. took care of rookie Sean Evans, while it took Pete Weber 5 games to defeat Steve Wilson, setting up a rematch from 2 weeks ago.
He knows how to bowl, he knows how to win, so I have to stay focused just as much as he has to stay focused.
And we had pretty much a mess when we bowled 2 weeks ago in Albany, and I was fortunate to come out on top, and hopefully I can do it tomorrow.
The match was intense from the onset. Both bowlers struggling early to find their line. To take it to a 5th game, DeLutz fed off Weber's energy, using it to his advantage. Weber left just enough room for DeLutz to advance to the round of 8.
He doesn't stop. It doesn't matter what the situation is. So I was very fortunate to get up there and pretty much get on 2 grind-out kind of conditions. And, you know, it was more of just a slugfest than a strike fest.
On the other pair, veteran Tom Baker defeated Dave Arnold 3 games to 1. Earlier, #1 seed Brian Voss took on Brian Goebel, where Voss continued along the same path he had all week. Maybe the surprise of the field was Lonnie Waliczek, who beat 3-time major championship winner David Husted in 5 games. In the noon session, our own Randy Peterson used his many years of experience to get in the head of rookie Jim Tomek Jr. Peterson advanced 3 games to 1. Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Rick Steelsmith put on the best show of the day. In the 5th game, while defending champion Williams couldn't find his line, Steelsmith was perfect, bowling a 300.
My heart's still pounding pretty good, but just going into that last game, I knew bowling Walter Ray, I was going to have to step up and bowl a good game, and fortunately it worked out. You just never know, and bowling him, you know you're going to have to shoot a big one.
The last of the round of 8 was formed as Steve Jaros and Bob Learn battled to 5 games, but Jaros was just too strong, striking last to advance. And in the last match, Doug Kent quickly took a 2-0 lead against Robert Smith, until Smith rallied to take it to a 5th game. But Kent continued to have confidence in the swing he's trusted all week to move him ahead another round.
I am absolutely pumped right now. I can't wait for this next match.
Round of 8 is when you have to knock them down and get it on.
Just motivated and concentration. That's what it's all about.
This is our World Championship, and we're going to be down to the 8 guys tonight.
Fighting for my life right now. That's how intense it is.
This is the most intense it's ever going to get. This is the biggest tournament we've had all year, the biggest prize fund. There isn't one guy out here that wants it more than anybody else.
Just take it one step at a time, and I'm thinking oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. This is the entire year in one match. Lose, you go home, win, you get a chance for $120,000.
And it was the round of 8 that determined today's PBA World Championship field. Our first semifinal features Brian Voss. Voss, a PBA Hall of Famer and winner of the 1988 National Championship, defeated Tom Baker in the round of 8. Voss takes on Lonnie Waliczek. Waliczek, a 31-year-old touring pro from Wichita, Kansas, is looking for his first PBA Tour victory. Waliczek defeated Tommy DeLutz Jr. to reach the semis. And in our other semifinal, Rick Steelsmith, the 1988 PBA Rookie of the Year, won this event back in 1997. Steelsmith took care of Steve Jarrows 3-1 in the round of 8. Steelsmith will meet Doug Kent. Kent, a winner of 4 PBA Tour titles, is looking to add a PBA World Championship to his collection. Kent defeated Randy Peterson to reach today's telecast. The PBA World Championship is next on ESPN. And for the 22nd consecutive year, it is in Toledo, Ohio. We welcome you to the Southwick Lanes in Toledo, where 4 bowlers are left, going after the title of World Champion. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ron Doolin. I'm joined by a man that won this title back in 1987. He also had a great week this week, finishing in the top 8. My broadcast partner, Randy Peterson. Randy, great job, my friend.
Thanks, Ron. I'm exhausted from all the bowling this week. I just wish I was still out there competing for that first place prize money of $120,000.
Well, I'm kind of glad you're here. But, you know, you talk to the players, $120,000 for the first place prize check. That is a great deal of money, the largest in the history of the PBA. But there is an aura about being named world champion. You've been in this position. What is it like?
Well, out of the 12 victories that I have, this is obviously my most coveted victory back in 1987. You know, it's a major, number one. But how can you not look at the prize fund? I mean, $120,000 for first. And, you know, it's just fitting that with a major event like this, we had a grueling format and a grueling condition. And the 4 guys that are here today didn't get here by accident. Nothing was given to them. They earned their way here by beating the best players in the world.
Well, there are only 4 standing. Let's take a look at our Alka-Seltzer brackets and see how today's semifinal matches are going to stack up. Brian Voss and Lonnie Waliczek will be semifinal number 1. Rick Steelsmith will take on Doug Kent in semifinal number 2. Now, in 1988, the winner of this event was Brian Voss. He was also the number 1 seed this week, heading into the round of 32, and he's standing by with Leslie Goodell now.
Well, you know, Ron, he's also dominated all week, and it's a very long week, Brian. How is it you've managed to be so consistent?
Well, a lot of really hard work. My keys this week, technically, I've been really trying to stick my slide, and today we just got to get the job done. It's not over. Just got to bring it home. Got to get the job done. Nothing else.
Well, he's no stranger to a big paycheck. He's won $125,000 and $140,000 in 2 non-tour events. Of course, today's paycheck would be nice, but I would imagine a second world title is something that he can keep with him all his life. Ron?
All right, thanks, Leslie. One of those were 1 million yen, I might add. Well, the conditions were brutal this week. Who better to talk about it than those who competed on the lanes? Let's take a look.
I was actually surprised the scores were as high as they were. I thought the lanes were oiled in a fairly challenging manner, but for some reason the pins seemed to fall pretty well here.
They were much flatter, similar to what we had earlier in the year on some of our toughest patterns, and predictably the scores were lower for a lot of guys.
So the lane conditions this week have been demanding. Spares have come into play, and the strikes are pretty irrelevant right now.
I like seeing demanding shots in a major tournament like this, and you know, it brings out some of the better players.
Real tricky lane condition this week with an emphasis on repeating shots, speed, consistency, and a good release of must. 2 ways to play the lanes: the deep inside line, the rainbow shot, or you can pipe it right in between the 2nd and 3rd arrow. In either case, pick your poison.
Well, let's see how they handle these conditions now. It has come down to the final 4. $120,000 on the line. Our first semifinal, Brian Voss against Lonnie Waliczek. Lonnie, the 31-year-old out of Wichita, Kansas. sends the message early on.
There's some love early.
Well, he got a little good karma. His wife, Amy, sang the national anthem prior to tonight's finals. Let's take a look at this once again.
Head pin's going to go to the side wall, come across. 18 miles an hour, 25th board. He's playing the deep inside line. Speed is off the player's hand. Rotation at the edge.
Brian Voss doesn't get such luck. We'll keep an eye on the speed and the board throughout this afternoon. Brian Voss, of course, won the national championship in 1988, finished second in 1997. When he won, the prize money was only $51,000. Talk about the experience. Brian Voss has been here. Lonnie Waliczek finished fifth here a few years ago. But still, Brian has been in this position. Any advantage?
Brian's got all the advantage. He's got all the experience.
Just a reminder, you can log on to PBA.com right now and talk to one of the greats in the PBA history, Johnny Petraglia, celebrating his 55th birthday. He is on right now on www.pba.com.
The great JP.
I don't think Lonnie Waliczek is thinking about Johnny Petraglia right now, continuing to concentrate, and he hit it on the head, and he told us again last night, breathe in, breathe out. His key today was just relaxing.
That was a bad shot.
Do you agree?
Bad shot.
Well, Brian says it's a bad shot. It's a bad shot. He doesn't make a lot of bad shots. This ball was left of target. Looked like he thumbed it down, meaning he turned the ball a little bit early. And when you do that, it makes the ball go left. That ball cuts right through the head pin, leaving the 3-6-10. The idea on this spare, try to cover all three pins with the bowling ball.
Does
or that way.
Or that way. No style points. No style points in bowling.
And Brian knows he's fortunate to make that spare.
The little grin, and here's Lonnie Waliczek. His first PBA cash actually came here in Toledo in 1997, his first on the tour. Said he picked up about $1,000 then. Finished fifth at the national championship here in Toledo in '99.
Beautiful release, playing the deep inside line. Ryan, you see the difference in the two players. Brian Voss going much more direct. Lonnie's way inside, playing the deep inside angle. Take a look at Lonnie Waliczek. Now stop it right there. What we want to look for, Lonnie told us that he's been working with John Jowdy, just push weight, pushing it up and over the bar. Go ahead. Well above the bar, and watch the balance and the form, and watch him post this shot. Just gorgeous.
Well, the strike will put him up by 23 here in the early going. Great concentration. He's been throwing pure shots the entire week. Oh, baby! Let's go to Vegas, Lonnie.
What a tremendous break early on. This ball cuts right through the heart. Looks like he's going to leave the 4-7-10. The 7 goes down. The 4 goes down. The 10 goes down. 7, 8, 9, 10. And how about that reaction? Taking it right to the Hall of Famer.
Blood pressure just went up. Now, Brian Voss has been in this position before. Down by 23, working on a spare. He's in the third.
That's a real strike right there.
We got a little trash talking early on here.
Well, Brian said in the beginning, game on.
Well, he just said that's a real strike there as opposed to what Lonnie did the frame before last.
You gotta love it.
Lonnie's in a trance. I mean, he is so focused, just concentrating on his breathing, running the image of him making a perfect shot mentally through his mind right now.
Well, finishing in this top 4, Brian Voss is the 13th $100,000 winner this year. Breaks the record of 12. Strike will put him just back by 13.
Here's the hook.
Couldn't buy the break there.
Well, again, it's still early.
Better shot.
It's down by 24. I'm sorry, with a spare, he'll be down by 23. Still early on, and with as tricky as the lane conditions are, one errant shot, as you saw Lonnie Waliczek do in the third frame, could either be disaster or strike.
Well, he hasn't missed a single pin spare conversion the whole week, and Brian Voss spares in the fourth, but Lonnie Waliczek riding 3 in a row. He has a 23-pin lead. It's the national championship, the world championship of the PBA from Toledo. Lonnie Waliczek riding 3 in a row. He's holding on to the 23-pin lead. Lonnie's wife Amy sang the national anthem. They met at a concert. And Amy said that she saw him and said, boy, he's cute. Went up and started talking to him. They now have a lovely little daughter, Olivia, who is almost 2. Amy said the best quality of Lonnie, he's a great dad. What a tribute to that young man.
It's a nice quality to have.
Lonnie doesn't seem to have any problem at all.
He's got a real good look and a real good ball reaction, but he's making really good shots with the exception of the third frame where he went high. The inside line seems to be obviously playing much better for Lonnie than the straighter ball for Brian Voss.
See what he's done, beating Brian Smith, Dave Husted, Tommy DeLutz. Great match with DeLutz last night. He's now leading by 33. He's really matched up with the shorter patterns this week.
You know, we talked about him pushing the ball over the bar. What that does is if he goes down in his push with it, gets the ball in the backswing early, makes the ball arrive at the foul line early. Get it over the bar, late timing, big hook.
Well, the streak of 4 will end. Best finish this year for Lonnie was 6th. He tied for 6th in New Jersey. Well, he hasn't had a great strike percentage this week, only 54%. Does that mean anything?
Well, he's done exactly what he's needed to do to make it this far. I mean, he took care of a Dave Husted who's won 3 majors. I mean, he's...
Oh, my.
That obviously a big mistake, missing single pin spares.
Well, you talked about it only takes 1 time.
This ball actually catches a piece of the 4-pin, but just not enough. Look at it wiggle. Opens the door for Brian Voss. 2 strikes here, he's down by 10.
Voss coming in with a great attitude. He has been bowling extremely well, including his victory in Vegas earlier this year. Now, he's been starting at about the 12th board. He said everybody else has been at 15, 17. He felt there were 3 ways to play these lanes. How is he playing them right now?
Well, he's playing around the 14th board. His 2 previous shots on that lane. 14th board, both shots, that was almost the 16th board, so almost 2 boards left. And on this condition, the ball's not going to lay off, especially when you're going straight.
Well, tonight, Championship Week presented by 7-Up continues with another conference title game on ESPN2 at 6 o'clock Eastern. The Southern Conference will crown their champion. College Basketball Championship Week presented by 7-Up on ESPN. And for more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Brian Voss going much straighter than Lonnie Waliczek. He's going to get the ball into the downswing much sooner.
Great shot. You see the results. But the bottom line is that, Randy, he had a golden opportunity in the 5th, and he didn't take advantage of it. Will that come up and bite him? We have to wait and see.
Brian Voss going much straighter, much more conventional style and approach, shoulder high backswing, and one thing all the great players have is a great finish.
Well, Lonnie Waliczek in the driver's seat, up by 34 pins. Bowling in the 6th.
Come on, here comes. Ooh. Short pin, Ron, short pin.
Somebody filed about a 1/4 inch off.
Brian didn't mind that messenger not going over and taking it to 10. We're halfway through this match. It's starting to get to where it's gut check time. Can't miss spares. Got to hit the pocket.
Waliczek still in the driver's seat. That time, no problem. The 2-time All-American from Wichita State. You know, his dad, Paul, actually started the program at Wichita State in the early 70s. A very good program, to say the least.
It's a great program. There's a lot of players on our tour from Wichita State. Rick Steelsmith, Justin Romick, just to name a few.
There you go. Oh, somebody go out and buy that 10-pin a present. He likes Lonnie.
He got the great love tap. just nudging the 10-pin out. Snapping release.
He likes it, only his 4th television appearance, but Lonnie Waliczek of Wichita, Kansas, holding on to the lead, up by 34. Brian Voss, though, a strike will put him within 24. Semifinal number 1, 120,000 on the line.
Welcome back to the PBA World Championship in Toledo, Ohio. I'm with R.D. Miller, a national touring professional who got into the round of 64, finished 55th. So a long week, you know the grind, the competition. What does it say about these 4 bowlers to have gotten this far?
Well, it's really tough to get this far in this kind of format, being you lose 1 game and you're out. This was a really exciting tournament, though. A lot of money on top. These guys are really sharp, and they came to play today.
You joined the tour in 1996. How has it changed since you came on tour?
Well, since I came on tour, we're bowling for a lot more money, for one, and the other thing is new things are happening with the PBA. We have Steve Miller, Ian Hamilton, the PBA team creating new opportunities for us, not only for just the players in the PBA organization, but for the entire bowling industry, and I'm really excited about what the hell's.
Well, and everybody's certainly excited about what Brian Voss just did, Ron.
Absolutely, Leslie. He has cut that lead down now to 24. That helps as far as his confidence is concerned. There is still a great deal of bowling left. Brian's just bowling now in the 8th.
Brian can strike out for a possible 233. Lonnie Waliczek going at a 217 pace, 8th frame. Brian needs to start stringing some together. 2 in a row is not going to get it done.
Has just struggled on that lane.
A little bit different hand position for Brian Voss. He's got his hand broken back just a little bit. What that does is it creates a much straighter shot. You want to throw the ball straight? Like when I shoot spares, I break my wrist backwards, makes the ball get much straighter. You want to throw the big hook ball, get your wrist to go the other way, cup it. At some point in the downswing, get that hand, and those fingers underneath the equator of the bowling ball. That creates power.
Well, he said he's been bowling with almost what he called a dead hand. He says it's a release he's been working on the past couple of weeks. This is the first he's actually used it in competition. It's been very successful so far, but Lonnie Waliczek, a strike will put him up by 35. He's got away from it.
You could see it as soon as he let go. Yeah. He walked away from the shot. He knew it was left off his hand, and that ball's there's no hold on the lane. You miss by a board, 2 boards left. We saw what happened to Brian Voss. He misses by 2 boards. Ball goes right through the heart. This ball here, he knows it's left out of his hand. Doesn't push far enough to the right. Leaves a 3-6-7. I'm sorry, 3-6-10. All right, good cover there.
Looking for his first PBA victory. Lonnie Waliczek.
That right lane, Lonnie's been around the 23rd board. I got 22.9, 22.9, 23.5. That last shot, the 25th board. So 2 boards left, the ball's not going to hold line.
And Brian Voss is running out of time. He needs a little help if he wants to get back into this. Gotten some.
Product of what's happened on the right lane. Goes high, overcompensates, gets the ball too far right. Actually, his location was about the same, just a little bit different off his hand. And a pinch faster.
I saw Amy, and most wives are a lot more nervous than their husbands when they're bowling.
Chances of making the 2-8-10 aren't real good. I've seen it. Converted before out here, but it's not something that you just walk up and say, okay, I can make this. What you want to do is cover the 2-8.
And he does that. So his second open frame, he also left the 5th open, but Brian Voss was not able to take advantage of that. Now Brian with the 9th, working on a spare. Amy can do nothing and just watch, but now it is all on the shoulders of Brian Voss. You talk about game on.
Brian can strike out to shoot 212. Lonnie Waliczek can strike out to shoot 213. It's all going to come down to who performs in the 10th frame.
It has been a grueling week, and it continues to grind on these players here.
Look out!
Oh, he almost bought the break. And again, the 10.
He got one like that.
Well, that's 5 10-pins he has left in this match. That, and he does. Once again, it's for the 43rd consecutive year. It's the PBA World Championship. We're at the Southwick Lanes in Toledo, Ohio, and it has come down to the final 4. Lonnie Waliczek is one of them, looking for his first PBA victory, and it would be a major. Brian Voss has won a major, looking for his second World Championship. Second semifinal will have Rick Steelsmith and Doug Kent.
3 in the 10th forces Lonnie Waliczek to mark in the 10th frame. There's his break.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it, Ronnie. I mean, you can even see it from here, how that ball's left out of his hand.
But you know, let's go back to Vegas. This is almost what Brian did in Vegas. He did not bowl exceptionally well, and he admitted that it wasn't his best match. But he was able to win.
That's just a bad shot.
See that hand go left? And he knows it. I mean, Brian is the first person that'll tell you that that ball was pulled. He's credited with making great shots out here. He's made great shots for a long, long time. That's why he's a Hall of Famer, and he's won 21 times. Right now, 2 strikes in the 10th frame forces Lonnie Waliczek to fill 19 pins to advance. That one had a little different look to it, didn't it, Ron?
Yes, it did. That's 2 in a row. He needs one more to put the pressure on again.
You know, you look at it and you go, okay, Brian gets a strike, shoots 201. All Lonnie Waliczek has to do is go spare and 9. Let me tell you something how tough that's been this week. We're bowling matches, getting around to 16, getting around to 8, and your opponent needs a mark in the 10th frame, and he takes it right in the throat, and the next thing you know, he's left this big split. Anything can happen.
We've seen it the whole week. A lot of single pin spare conversions have been missed.
Counts and that gives Lonnie a little bit more of a breathing room there. Now he can go spare 8, still win by 1 pin. But the bottom line, he needs a mark. And when you need a mark, the best thing to do is throw the strike.
And we saw Tommy DeLuce yesterday needing a mark, left the big 4, cost him making it into the final 4.
Can't throw it any better than that, folks.
And Amy can take a deep breath. He just needs 8. Let's take a look at Amy.
You think Lonnie's pumped up. Watch this.
They are one of the nicest couples you'll ever meet.
8 pins and 2 balls.
Second place, by the way, is $50,000. Lonnie has only made 96 in his career. You heard 08, and he's got the 8. Brian Voss, it's been a marvelous week for him and a tremendous year, but Brian's going to come up short against Lonnie Waliczek. 1 match away from winning his first PBA title, $120,000 from being crowned world champion.
All right!
Well, he leaves it open, but it doesn't matter. Lonnie Waliczek is our winner. He advances to the finals, 1 step away from being the world champion. Leslie Goodell is with our winner now. Leslie?
Well, he caught a really great break in that 3rd frame, and the crowd got behind you. How much of a difference did that make for you?
I think it made a huge difference because it's real important, especially when you're bowling somebody like Brian, to get off to a fast start. And that 3rd frame was huge.
It's very intense, very focused, and has 1 more game to bowl. Ron?
All right, thanks, Leslie. A great effort by Lonnie Waliczek. He is our winner. He has advanced. Semifinal number 2 is still coming up straight ahead. Waliczek is in the final, but who will be finalist number 2? Either Doug Kent, Rick Steelsmith. That's straight ahead.
To me, the national championship is just exactly what it says it is, the PBA National Championship. It's always something I've pumped up for, and it's always been, since I've been on the tour, to me, the #1 title in bowling. So I just seem to do my best in this tournament for some reason. I guess it's because I want to win it more than any other event we have.
And in 1983, Earl Anthony would win the last of his record 6 PBA National Championships. He won the event 3 consecutive times on 2 different occasions, 1973 through 75 and 81 through 83. And his win in 1982 made him the first player to surpass $1 million in career earnings. The 1983 win for Anthony, who passed away last fall, was his last title on the PBA Tour. Earl Anthony, a great champion.
PBA Hall of Famer Carmen Salvino bowled with the great Earl Anthony. What kind of a competitor was he?
He was a tough guy, but more importantly, he was a credit to the sport, and we miss him.
You won 17 titles in your career, and being around everything this week, how has the tour changed?
It's changed a lot. The great young players of today are great athletes, better than we've ever had in the history of the sport. And it's what else is great is the money. For the first time, these young athletes are going to get paid for their skills.
What was the money part of the reason you decided to come back and bowl this week?
Definitely not. It was a thrill of just being in this environment. The new owners, Chris Peters, has made this so exciting that I had to come out.
Well, I can't tell you how many of the professionals said that it was such a treat to be able to talk to Carmen this week and hear many of his great stories. Ron?
Absolutely. I think if we get a bigger kick out of it than anybody. By the way, the final vote is in, and Del Ballard Jr. has won the last spot in the PBA's Battle at Little Creek. PBA fans voting online on the Geico Direct Battle ballot made Ballard the winner with 37% of the vote. Richard Wolf was second. George Branham was third. Ballard's edition fills the 32-man field for this season-ending event. And by the way, for all the latest information, log on to PBA.com, and you can also talk with Johnny Petraglia today. Take a look at our final score. Lonnie Waliczek wins it with a 202. Brian Voss 2 pins short. And our Alka-Seltzer brackets look like this. Lonnie Waliczek is awaiting the winner of semifinal number 2 between Rick Steelsmith and Doug Kent. You know, we all know about the tour players fighting for the title and the quest for prize money, but Randy Peterson tells us there's an interesting aspect to the life on the road in the PBA that most don't know about.
Brian Kretzer is a well-known figure on the PBA Tour, and if you didn't know, he, along with several of the guys on tour, have a roommate when traveling from event to event. Brian Kretzer's roommate is another Brian Himmler. As roommates, they spend a good majority of their time together and must know each other pretty well, right? Well, I sat down with both of them to find out just that. Late night, after a large pizza, who controls the remote?
I would like to most of the time, but he usually has it. I have it most of the time. I can't stand to watch it when he's got it in his hand. That's when I leave.
Okay, who's most likely to watch the chick flick?
Him. That'd be me, easily.
Who's the biggest slob?
Me, definitely. Brian by miles.
You get the rental car, who drives?
He's a great driver. He's the slower driver, I'm the faster driver.
Which one of you guys always takes the other guy's clothes?
Me. Brian just did this week.
Traveling on the road, check into the hotel, who gets first dibs on the bed?
Me. I usually take the bed first.
Which one of you snores like a hungry bear?
Me. He does.
After coming in from a late night, you got to wake up early the next day. Who gets the extra 10 minutes of sleep?
Definitely Brian. I usually get up first.
Which one of you takes the long shower and uses all the hot water?
Me. Brian takes long showers.
Who hooks up more?
Who what? That's a bad question. It would be me, but I'm already hooked up. Well, he's got a girlfriend and I just got divorced, so that's probably, I'll give it to him.
Okay, now my broadcast partner roomed with Dave Traber this week. Who snores like the hungry bear? You or Traber?
Oh, he's bad.
That's not what he says about you.
No, he snores like a hungry bear, and I figured out a way to get him to stop. When he starts really sawing on it, I just sit over there in the other bed and I go, psst, psst. And all of a sudden he wakes up, and the next morning it's funny, he goes, hey, were you talking to me while I was sleeping? I go, no, I didn't say anything.
I think we'll just stay broadcast partners, okay? I don't want to have this roommate thing work. And we've got one semifinal in the book. Semifinal number 2 is straight ahead. Doug Kent, Rick Steelsmith, they both have bowled 300 games this week. It will be a battle to the end. The winner goes to the finals. We'll be back. For the 43rd consecutive year, it's the PBA World Championship. For the 22nd consecutive year, we are inside of Toledo, Ohio's Southwick Lanes. Semifinal number 2 is on tap. Doug Kent, Rick Steelsmith, along with Randy Peterson, Leslie Goodell. I'm Ron Thulin. Glad you're with us today. And This is a semifinal that features two bowlers who have been so smooth and so pure this week. Both of them, you talk about game on, they have had it.
Well, Doug Kent, you're going to get your first look at him. He can do just about anything imaginable to a bowling ball at release. Very, very talented.
Most versatile player on the tour, probably. And consistent.
Oh, God, I threw that good.
She did.
Yes,
he
did.
Very well.
Put the nice touch on it. Ball just comes up and pinch lightly to the 7-pin. All right. Good shot. First shot out of the gate.
The 34-year-old out of Newark, New York. Owns a bowling center, the Doug Kent Rose Bowl Lanes. This is his 26th career singles appearance, and he'll be smiling if he continues.
Put on a happy face.
Thank you very little. Well, he won the Masters back in '91. He's had a great year, though, Red. He's missed only one cut this season.
And it's not surprising. He's very, very talented. Like I said, Doug's only drawback, I think, is that he doesn't think he's as good as everybody else does.
Well, we talked with that about that with him last night about confidence. And here's a young man that's got a great deal of confidence. It's been something he's been working on. He's worked with a sports psychiatrist about it, psychologist.
Boy, this guy's really been pulling excellent the last couple of months.
Well, he won the Masters in '87, and his last title was right here in Toledo, the PBA World Championship. Now, he had a 300 game this week. Now, you're going to see Rick doing that a lot. He did it a lot last night in the round of 8. Tell us why.
Well, he wants to get good footing, and by roughing up the texture on his shoe, he's not going to slip. So if you keep throwing shots and that sole starts to get matted down, it can get a little slick. He uses that brush to rough up the sole so it doesn't slip.
Rick Steelsmith has been pure. Randy, break it down for us, partner.
One of the best things I like about Rick Steelsmith is what he does from the top of the swing down. What we're going to see is freeze it right there. Look where his hand is. It's on the inside part of the bowling ball. And what happens on the way down, go ahead and stop there. What happens on the way down is it takes his elbow and his hand and takes it and puts it on an inside position to give him maximum leverage and power. That shot looks like he just missed it a hair at the bottom. Didn't quite get as much of the ball as he wanted to. Lost it a little bit quick off his hand. Ball went a little bit too far right. 23rd board. That's at the arrows. That's about 3 inches left of the middle arrow. Middle arrow is the 20th board.
Now, he's already used a couple of different balls, so he's trying to find out what ball's going to work best in this condition.
He's used 2 different balls. I bowled next to him in the round of 16 and the round of 8. And he used 2 different balls for both of those rounds. And we talked about how great he's been bowling against Walter A. Williams Jr. Shoots 300 the 5th game. Sure. Steve Jarrison needs a double in the 10th frame. The 4th game to lock him out. He did it.
Well, these two went at each other in Dallas, if you remember. And Rick Steelsmith got the better of Doug Kent then as he doubled in the 10th to put Doug away. Doug finished 3rd in Dallas, also 3rd in Erlanger, Kentucky. Well, Doug Kent, another strike, and now it's time for Dexter's Footwork of the Pros. Let's hear from 4-time titleist Doug Kent.
My Dexter solution for this week was the number 4 sole with the number 2 heel. A few weeks back, I made a show in Erlanger, Kentucky on wood approaches. This week again, we have wood approaches a little slipperier. That gave me the good leverage and balance I needed to make good shots, so I come away with a victory today. Be the shoe.
Well, to learn more about the best Dexter solution for you, talk to your local pro or visit DexterShoe.com.
Look at that.
And he got it.
By getting his hand to rotate around the side of the bowling ball creates that back-end reaction, that back-end look that he's looking for.
Isn't this a perfect format for Doug Kent? He is a grinder. He's not one of the sprinters that some formats don't fit. He likes these long formats because it allows him to get comfortable with the lanes, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Ron.
There's the Rick Steelsmith that has bowled so well, and it's critical for him to get the ball out of his hand the same way he's done.
Well, it hasn't been that critical. I mean, this condition makes it critical. When you know that you have to hit what you're looking at, it makes the swing get a little tight, makes that grip get a little tight. When you have margin for error, when you know you have left and right, your swing is usually a lot looser.
Well, he did get that Rookie of the Year award almost 14 years ago. Needs a strike now. It would put him just back by 15 pins.
And the information I'm getting from Rick's ball rep, the right lane has a hang spot, so he'll use more surface and more tilt to avoid that. On the left lane, hooks earlier, weaker ball, deeper inside.
Well, he had the best strike percentage of the 4 finalists, 75%. But he struggled this week. He only has 1 strike so far, that coming in the 3rd. Rick's best finish, 2nd in Dallas. Another Wichita State All-American. Proud shocker. You know, he was getting to a point where he's getting too analytical trying to find his swing, and it really hurt his timing. Sort of corrected that, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, he got to where he was thinking about it.
And we're in semifinal number 2. Lonnie Waliczek is waiting in the wings, and right now Doug Kent has the advantage. He leads by 25. We'll be back to Toledo, Ohio in a moment. Johnny Petraglia would win the 1980 PBA National Championship to complete bowling's Triple Crown. However, this performance in 1994's event is what most people remember. In the second match of the day, he became the first and only player to bowl a televised 300 game in this event. He would ultimately finish 3rd, losing to Dale Traver, who would face his brother Dave in the title match. Johnny would earn a $100,000 bonus for the perfect game. And joining us in the booth for the next couple of minutes is the man who won that, or finished 2nd in that tournament, got the 300 game, and celebrating his birthday today. I think it's 20-something, Johnny Petraglia.
Thanks, Ron.
Johnny, talk about the aura, though, of winning this tournament. It has to be just incredible.
Well, Ron, it was very special. Actually, the 2 special moments in my bowling career are around this tournament, because this was the 3rd jewel of the Triple Crown back in 1980, and then the 300 was the most special day in my bowling career. I wish everybody could feel like that just once.
Well, let's watch some bowling, Johnny. He's going to be in the booth with us for the next few minutes, breaking down this semifinal match. Right now, Doug Kent in control.
Happy birthday, John.
Thank you, Randy.
From a guy who knows how to win $100,000.
Oh, Doug Kent's in a groove, Johnny. Don't you get that feeling right now?
Absolutely. I think he's the only one that's really making shots the way he did all week. And he threw him under pressure, but he bowled to my right all week, Randy. He was so consistent, and it looks he could go straight when he had to. He could make it hook and flip when he had to, and he just did it all week long.
He just appears to me that he really never makes a bad shot. He always gets the ball off his hands so good. And the one thing that he's talked to me about the last show he made and today is the fact that he's trying to make his timing later, to set him up and get him in front of the ball when he gets to the foul line, so he can basically do whatever he wants to do at the bottom of the swing.
Well, he's really doing it great.
Hello.
Come on.
Oh.
Let's take a look at some of the other finishers from this week here at the 43rd PBA World Championship. That'll be at the bottom of your screen. Pick out your favorite player. Great week for Tommy DeLutz and my buddy Randy. And in the round of 16, you see the final, but right now it is all Doug Kent. He is up by 34 pins here in the 5th.
Johnny, you take a look at some of those names down there at the bottom.
Oh, my, another missed.
Big mistake there.
Looks like future Hall of Fame roll call.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Johnny, how do you shake this off? I mean, right now you're on a roll. You're riding 3 in a row. You miss a single pin spare conversion. Mentally, you have to block that out, don't you?
You certainly do, and especially right now, if you're Rick Steelsmith, you get up there, and this is when you really jump on it. The guy opened the door for me to let me back in the match. I want to make 2 perfect shots right now, and this is the guy that can do it.
There's one.
And Randy, I want to congratulate you this week.
Thanks, man.
You not only bowl well, but every time that you really needed to make a shot, even if your score wasn't too good that game, or you didn't seem to have the lane figured out, you managed to flush it when you had to. It looked like 5-6 years ago. Nice job, Voss.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it.
Well, a strike will put Steelsmith within 12 pins. This is huge, and he knows it.
Playing a little bit deeper on that lane, Johnny, with a ball that kind of goes longer and flips harder in the back end.
Randy, I think lane 47, all the mistakes wanted to run up high on that lane most of the week. And it looks like they're overcompensating. You know, they just know it's going to go high and they're trusting it a little too much.
Yeah. Maybe playing them a little too deep. Yeah. A little too much angle, maybe.
Hello, firefighters from Findlay, Ohio. We're glad you're with us today. A little free airtime. Rick Steelsmith said he had to be patient today. You know, he's been working a lot with Rick Benoit, working on his swing, also new equipment. It seems to have matched his style of game, Randy.
Well, he likes the fact that the stuff he's using now picks up earlier, rolls a little bit sooner for him. Whereas his old equipment just pushed too long down the lane. He felt like he always had to be real handsy and really work it at the bottom. Now with the stuff he's using now, he just feels like all he has to do is just go through it. And then obviously the X factor being working with Rick Benoit. Rick's really helped him out a lot, John.
Oh, the championship week presented by 7-Up continues at 9 o'clock Eastern. Metro Atlantic Championship, midnight Eastern. West Coast Conference will crown its champion. All this week championship week presented by 7-Up on ESPN.
You know, one of the things that there's another shot we saw Brian Voss do it a couple of times. We saw Lonnie Waliczek do it in the last match. And you hear Doug, all you have to do is let it go, which is easier said than done. But you can see right away when they get the ball going too straight up the lane, it's got no chance of laying off.
Absolutely. This is the thing is that when you're a little bit looser and you know that you can cut it loose to the right and get enough hand in it to get it back, you could sort of take the nose out of play. But one thing's when your swing shortens up just a little, you have trouble letting it go for 120,000. The lane becomes tougher.
Well, the smiley face worked again for Doug Kent, and he maintains his advantage. But once again, another opportunity for Rick Steelsmith.
John,
Kent still up by 22.
Excuse me.
The 4-6, but I can't make
your ball speed, which we talk about each and every week. The guys are just stellar at maintaining a specific ball speed. But here's the issue. You know, you've got to keep this ball in that one board area, that 1 or 2 board area, and it's got to be in the right direction.
Absolutely, and after you've done that, you got to make sure you don't pull it, you don't walk offline, get out of it clean.
Well, he's back out on that left side. And Doug Kent continues to lead Rick Steelsmith. We are halfway home in semifinal number 2. Rick Steelsmith is down by 22 pins. It all started with 284 players at the PBA World Championship. We are down to 3, about to be 2. Will it be Rick Steelsmith or Doug Kent? Rick Steelsmith is in a 22-pin hole as he bowls here in the 7th.
Come on.
Oh, that's bad.
That's just not even fair. Tough enough to hit the pocket. When you do, you leave that.
Well, that'll get his wife Roxanne and daughter Kayla and son Kyle on the edge of their seat back in Wichita. You cannot allow yourself to become frustrated, though, at this point, can you, Johnny?
No, you can't. You right now, it's you know, it's the thing that makes bowling so great is that you're all alone out there, and you have to perform. When you're on the approach and you're in the position of Rick Steelsmith, where you know pretty much you got to strike out right now. That's being on the, you know, that's on top of the diving board, on the top of the hill for the downhill. You're all alone.
See how much deeper Rick's playing on the left lane.
That's on tape.
Getting to the hole, not striking, leaving that solid 7 in the last frame. Around the 24th board on the left lane, around the 4th arrow on the right lane. So almost an arrow deeper on that left lane, John. And we've been talking about the fact that that lane does hook more, and players are doing whatever they can do to move deeper, play a little bit different angle to get the ball to the through.
Oh, that was critical, Randy. He didn't over-adjust. The normal reaction, he'd over-adjust. He just threw it great.
Yeah, cured it. You can see the back-end reaction from that floor level, how that ball just peeled in the back end. And Johnny, not to jump ahead, but I want to ask you this. Championship match, $120,000 on the line. You need a strike, just like you did when you shot your 300. What's the mindset? What are you thinking about that enables you to get up there and make that perfect shot for the week?
I think everybody handles it differently. for me, it was that never put the pressure aside. The point is that people perform under pressure different ways, and if you try to completely relax and make believe it's a practice shot, your body fails you. But since you were good enough to get here, the thing that I thought about is there's a lot of pressure on me. My heart's beating fast, my palms are sweaty, and just before my approach started, I said, and since I'm here, I'm good enough to handle it. And so I had a positive thought in my head as I started my approach. Now, other people can relax. I was never good at that. I had to figure out a way to make it fun.
Yeah, let's strike would put Doug Kent up by 43. We're at the PBA Championship in Toledo, Ohio. Randy Peterson, Ron Thulin, Leslie Goodell, Johnny Petraglia, our guest in our booth.
Big shot here, 9th frame.
So Rick Steelsmith, don't get out the defibrillator yet.
And it looks like Doug's kind of in between, John. You know, he gets it a little bit too far to the right, it hangs, gets it a pinch in, it goes through the face. As you take a look at Doug's parents, Mike and Nancy.
And his girlfriend, Chrissy, made the drive, started about 1 o'clock in the morning to get here for today.
And how big did this spare become all of a sudden? Now, after Doug leading the whole game, if he missed the spare, he can actually be shut out by Rick.
Right.
Your whole thought process can change right here.
Look out.
Just like that.
You called it, Johnny. Now Rick Steelsmith has to be the aggressor. Do sometimes, this is for both of you, do bowlers sometimes play not to lose rather than play to win, and you get a little too cautious?
I think
you both started smiling when I said that.
I think that happens sometimes, and a lot of it depends on the lane conditions and the situation. I mean, when the lanes were as tough as they are this week, I bowled a match that was in the round of 16, where I didn't feel my opponent had a very good shot, and I was up 2-0, and I said, you know what, let me take out a ball that I know I can shoot 190 or 2-0 with. When he shot 2T and I shot 190 and I lost.
Well, if he strikes here, Randy, it's an 8-pin lead, that is all.
Wasn't pointed bad on this lane yet.
Oh, my.
All I need is one.
Well, he never caught a break on that lane. And he's really hasn't caught a break anywhere. I mean, he's hit the pocket all but one shot. He's got 5-9 spares to show for it and only 3 strikes.
Well, Doug Kent left a grand opening in the 5th, left it open in the 9th. Rick took advantage of it in the 5th with the strike, but not here in the 9th.
Needs to spare here, double in the 10th, and 9 forced Doug Kent to mark in the 10th frame.
There's the spare. Steelsmith moves forward to the 10th.
How quick it can turn around. If he strikes there, he had his own destiny in hand. The whole ball was in his court, and now he has to double just to make Doug get a spare. It's amazing. It's
and it's not a bad shot. I mean, you know, trip 4 something, carries the solid 7 in the 7th frame.
Well, Doug Kent strikes out. He's on a 212 pace. Rick Steelsmith strikes out 194.
Boy, he really put the business to that shot.
Yeah, he did. He actually, he has a possible 194. He bowled so much better than his score this game. He really did.
The whole week he's bowled so solidly.
I don't know that John, bowling as well as he did this week to possibly lose and go home with 20,000 instead of 120,000.
That's, you know, it's during the match plays, it's the round of 32. He averaged just a shade under 230. Doug Kent averaged just a shade over 222.
All right, this shot here keeps Doug Kent honest in the 10th frame.
Absolutely, no freebies. That's what Rick's got to be thinking about. And he did. Oh, he got it.
And we have seen some strange things, Johnny, this week. Now it goes over to that man.
Yeah, we talked about it in our last match, John, prior to you coming out from the booth. But you know, in this tournament, with the money that's on the line and as tough as the lane conditions are, a mark in the 10th frame is definitely not a gimme.
And it also lets that other factor in. When you need a strike, you know you need a strike. And but when you need a strike or a spare, and that other little thought leaks into your head, it's sort of like the golfer that needed a birdie, but then all of a sudden a par bogey, he's thinking about something else.
Yeah, he finally gets a break. Finally.
Keep him honest. Rick's just trying to give Doug a little verbal pep talk. Keep him honest. Take that. There's my trip 4.
Well, Randy, I think you have a sense of what Rick Steelsmith is going through. Doug Kent needs a mark +3, by the way, but you bowl all week, and then you just, for whatever reason, can't get the ball off your hand or whatever.
Last night, Doug needs a mark to beat me to go on to tell it to the championship telecast today. Got the ball really wide. Got a good break just leaving the 2-pin. Let's see what happens. That's about as pure as you can throw it.
That's the difference between a great bowler and a complete champion. To throw it that good for the wheat is Doug is a true champion.
This is what you would call pure, Randy.
He yelled hook, there was no doubt.
Well, Doug Kent also had a shot clock violation, we think.
It's all right if he wins.
Doesn't make any difference.
120,000 will pay for a lot of shot clock violations.
That's what he needed.
Needed 3, does a smart thing, throwing it straight and hard down the middle of the lane.
Well, Doug Kent will advance against Lonnie Waliczek. The winner will be $120,000 richer. Rick Steelsmith, not today. Johnny Petraglia, thanks for spending some time with us. Congratulations. Happy birthday, my friend.
Well, thank you, Ron. I loved being up here, and enjoy the last game. It's going to be great.
Looking forward.
Thanks, Johnny. Thank you, Randy, as always.
Thanks. Great seeing you.
You too.
What we have been waiting for the whole week. Doug Kent's parents like what they see. Leslie Goodall is with Doug right now. Leslie?
Well, Doug Kent, you told me last night you were going to come out aggressive today. How much did that play a part in this win?
Well, I think anytime you get off to a good match like that and you get off and get your opponent pressing a little bit, it's to your advantage, and that's what I wanted to do today, and that's what I did.
He had a lot of confidence in his swing coming into this week. That confidence obviously high right now, Ron.
Absolutely, and Leslie, a win would even boost that confidence even more. We have come down to the final 2 bowlers of the PBA World Championship. Kent, Waliczek next.
Well, there are a lot of happy faces on the PBA Tour right now, and since Steve Miller, the president and CEO, took over the reins of the tour last year, it's experienced a rebirth, if you will. How do you carry over this hugely successful season to next year?
Well, there's several things happening. One is our international tour coming up, which we're very excited about. And number 2 is the appointment TV for next year. Starting October 13th of next year, our season's going to have 20 weeks of bowling. It's going to be Bowling Sunday in America, and we're really excited about that.
Steve, thank you. All this great bowling doesn't hurt either, Ron.
Absolutely. Steve has done a great job along with Ian Hamilton. We appreciate all their efforts. Now, let's take a look at some of the upcoming tour events on the PBA. Of course, in 2 weeks from today, we'll be at the Battle at Little Creek in Virginia Beach, Virginia. That'll get underway at 12:30 at 32 Bowler Field. Don't forget your PBA regional events down in the South region, in Florida, and in North Carolina, March 15th through the 17th. And it has come down to this. Our brackets by Alka-Seltzer. Right now, it is Lonnie Waliczek. He has made it to the final, defeating Brian Voss by 2 pins. Doug Kent took care of Rick Steelsmith by 8, and it'll be Waliczek and Kent. Now it's time for the Pros Approach, our weekly tip. This week, my partner caught up with 9-time PBA Tour champion Jason Couch.
Hey, nice shot. What are you doing?
I'm down here at the Kegel Training Center working out with my coach, Richard Shockley, working on lowering my rev rate today.
Rev rate? What's that, and why are you trying to lower it?
The rev rate is the RPM that comes off your hand when you hit the bowling ball. The average league bowler is about 225 RPMs. When I'm on my old game, I'm right around 450. So Richard Shockley talked me into lowering it, making myself a little more accurate, with some good power.
Well, do you think maybe you can give us a little demonstration on the before and after?
Be more than happy to.
Okay, let's see it.
This is my before shot. When I first came onto the tour, a lot of revs and torque off my hand.
Wow, Jason, that ball really broke loose in the back end, went right through the face.
You know, when you do throw the big strike ball, you have a lot more chance of throwing splits. That's why I lowered my rev rate down to about 350, a lot more consistent roll, able to knock the splits out there and be more consistent.
Okay, why don't you give us an example of a lower rev rate?
Okay. Same kind of setup, just untuck the pinky, make the wrist a little flatter, and you're good to go.
Wow, and much better result, obviously.
Absolutely.
Great tip from Jason Couch, folks. Sacrifice a little bit of power for a lot more consistency.
Now the rev rate may be low, but the heart rate is on the rise for Doug Kent. He is in the finals for $120,000. Lonnie Waliczek is also part of it. Who will be the world champion? The World Championship is a coveted crown. It has come down to Doug Kent and Lonnie Waliczek. Lonnie Waliczek has never won on the PBA Tour. And the 31-year-old of Wichita, Kansas, he is in a position to do just that. Doug Kent has some fans here. Now, Lonnie Waliczek, he had the choice. Win the ball, what lane. He's made the choice. How important is it to make that right choice here?
Well, you want to finish on the lane you have the best shot on, or you think you have the best shot on. But, you know, for Lonnie, he's chosen to start the match. That means he's going to have to finish the match.
He opened up his match with Brian Voss with 4 in a row, got on the offensive right away.
And maybe that's why he chose to finish on the right lane. You see that ball drifting high. He just got done practicing. I can only assume that he just doesn't like his look on that left lane.
Well, he's been on a roll, pardon the pun, for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Look out. All right. And the last thing you want to do for 120 grand in the championship match is miss spares.
Sidelines LA Hoops, presented by Gatorade. Well, Doug Kent is picking up where he left off, Randy.
He's got a good look. He knows that the job at hand is to make good shots. If he makes good shots, he knows the ball walks to the 1-3 pocket. And with his ball roll and the way his ball's entering the pocket, his carry looks pretty good.
Yeah, I would like to thank the proprietors, the co-proprietors of Southwick Lane, Sherry Gratop and Daryl Ducat on the right. Thank you, folks. Great hospitality again this week. And the lanes have really set up to Doug Kent's liking throughout this week because he played in, more comfortable there.
Oh! That was the atomic messenger. You see that head pin come ripping across, looking for the 10. Almost left the pocket 7-10.
Well, he bought a break there.
Watch the head pin go into the sidewall, and it comes looking for the 10 in a hurry.
How does this speed and board rank up to what he's been? About the same?
It's obviously a little bit further left on the left lane. That's the hooking lane. And he's real happy about making that spare.
That's where you walk away and you just go, okay, that's all right. That's what they call a good spare.
If you got him on that one.
Now Lonnie Waliczek opened up with a spare in the first. Once again, as he talked about at the top of the show, just relaxing. You have to push out that 120 out of your mind right now. Well, it wasn't pretty, but it went down.
Got a great break there. That was a light squisher, and he actually got the messenger that Doug was looking for.
Here's what he's done the last couple of weeks. He's missed the cut 2 of the last 4 in Burlington and Latham, but he came back in Erie through the round of 32. Great comeback there. Started out a little shaky, but he says after talking to John Jowdy, it's really helped his game and is showing in the results.
Well, I think the condition this week was favorable for Lonnie. He likes to play in. He's very good at playing in. This week, you saw a lot of the guys lofting it over the left gutter because the lanes broke down and hooked so much. Whenever the pattern's real flat like this, you always see the players playing in. This week, however, there's a little twist. You had that option of playing in between the second and third arrow going really straight. It's what I did all week. Brian Voss did that all week. Now, Lonnie Waliczek, the biggest moment of his professional career, championship match, $120,000, first place prize.
Well, he had a chance to go up by 10.
And that would have been nice to take advantage of that swisher he caught on the right lane.
Well, his wife Amy was telling us before. I said, what if he goes to the finals? And all, she says, well, he's such a relaxed guy. She goes, I knew he was relaxed last night. Amy said, because he was snoring. So he did get some sleep last night. And here's a young man that spends a lot of time working out. Keeps his body in great shape. $120 to the winner, $50,000 to the second place finisher.
Tell you what, if I was bowling for the title and $120,000, you'd have to hit me in the head with a club to get me to sleep last night.
I know, I don't see how they do that.
I would have tossed and turned all night. Now, you know, you look at the other side, $50,000 for finishing second. That's not bad either.
Well, Doug Kent.
A little bit.
Opened up with a strike. A couple of nines in the second and third. You know, he's always talking about his timing, but you can see how consistent he has been. Doug never really is satisfied with his timing, is he?
Well, I think he's always fidgeting and working on things, but I think that's why he's so good and what's made him so good. He never really just kind of rests on his laurels. He's always working on his game and trying to improve.
They came out so aggressively against Rick Steelsmith.
You know,
you think he's backing off a little bit?
Oh, I don't think so. And, you know, look at what Doug's done the last 9 events. All he's done, he's only missed the cut once, and that was in Medford. He's made it to the round of 32 each and every week. Latham, New York, only the round of 64, but he's got a third-place finish in Dallas, like we talked about, 16th in Burlington.
Looking for his 5th title. He liked it as soon as it left his hand.
Getting the ball to the 1-3 is half the battle. Knocking him over is after that. After the ball gets there is the other half, or the other chore. Head high, shoulder high backswing. Great balance. He knows it as soon as it left his hand.
Now Lonnie Waliczek knew from a very early age he wanted to bowl. That's all he ever wanted to do. He's an English major. Wichita State, wanted to be a bowler. And again, he leaves the 10. That's the 3rd 10 he has left in this match.
Alrighty. Making good shots, getting the ball to the pocket. Ball's losing a little bit of energy as it enters the pocket, leaving the weak 10 where the 6-pin, instead of going to the sidewall and taking the 10 out, it just kind of lays there in the channel. Ringing 10 is when it goes up and around or up and over.
This match is dead even. Doug Kent in the 5th. This is the only bad frame that Doug Kent had in the match number 1. Also the only bad frame that Lonnie Waliczek really had through the first 5 in match number 1. He left that single pin spare.
Just overthrew it. Oh, he got the great break, tripping the 10 out. Overthrew it. You can see him overthrow it. Ball went right through the break point.
Just missed the 1 completely, Randy.
Location was about the same. Speed was a little firm. Ball went right through the break point. A lot of times when you see that speed go up, it's because the players actually miss it a little bit at the bottom. And when there's less friction created with the bowling ball, the speed of the ball picks up and goes faster. When you see change of direction down the lane.
Well, the 5th in match number 1 was his Achilles heel. The 5th in match number 2 also jumps up to get him.
When you see the bowling ball making a change of direction down the lane, as you see this ball going right by the head pin, the ball is actually slowing down. It's gripping the lane. It's adhering to the lane. It looks like it's going fast, but it's actually slowing down. That's why we register speed up front, about 8 feet from the foul line towards the pins, where there's not a whole lot of friction being created.
And he is up by 24 pins.
That ball just kind of laid there. It looked like it was a little bit left.
Well, you're talking about a guy with a lot of revs without throwing it faster. That is Doug Kent. How does he do it?
He does it with hand. He does it with tilting his axis of rotation off of his hand. What he does with his hand up the back, around it, that snap release we talked about, transferring weight from the thumb to the fingers at release. Like I said earlier, he can do whatever he wants to with a bowling ball. It's just a matter of repeating what it is he wants to do.
You know, he really didn't have good reaction in the first game versus you last night. He changed his angle, went with a little softer speed, a little more roll. He was able to adjust.
Look out!
That could have really put Lonnie Waliczek in a hole.
That was the break he was looking for. Comes the bird dog, the head pin again, going to the sidewall.
That's a gnat's eyelash.
Oh man, just right behind it. Doug real soft with his hand at release. That gets the ball off his hand clean.
he does have a happy face in the sixth because Doug Kent leads by 23 pins. We are halfway through. Who will be the world champion? Who will be smiling, Kent or Waliczek? Welcome back. We are in to the second half of the finals. $120,000, a week's worth of bowling. Comes down to this. Right now, Doug Kent with a 23-pin lead over Lonnie Waliczek. Lonnie is up in the sixth. Still not anywhere near being out of this. Still a lot of bowling left. But he needs to get something going. He has an open in the fifth. Only one strike so far in this final match.
27 games of qualifying. They cut to the round of 64, the round of 32. Best 4 out of 7 that first round. Another ball light. Right now, Lonnie Waliczek's reaction looks very suspect. Having trouble getting the ball to the pocket now. This ball gets too far to the right. Down the lane. There's not enough grip down the lane when you get it that far to the right to get the ball to peel back from there. Trick here is you want to get the ball to the left side of the 2 pins, so like the 2 into the 10, the ball will take care of the 4.
Nope. Second open frame in a row.
You know, and just not the thing you want to do, especially against a Doug Kent. Under these circumstances, World Championship title at stake.
And he has had such a marvelous week.
He's bowled great all week long. Right now, he needs to suck it up and do whatever he has to do to get the ball to the pocket. Just will the pins down. Just get in there, start mixing it up. Just good old smash mouth bowling, man. Just bring it right now. Nothing to lose. Trails by 35.
Just seems to have a little bit of the lug nuts are loosening up a little bit on this vehicle.
And this is a place that I've been to all too often. A little bit too far to the right, the ball hangs. You get it a board or 2 left, the ball goes through the nose or Brooklyn.
That just shows how difficult these conditions are for these bowlers, though. And it's been that way the entire week. Well, he picks up the spare, but now the door is wide open for Doug Kent. Doug can put a great deal of pressure on Lonnie Waliczek. Doug leading by 35, bowling here in the 7th.
Tournament is his. All he has to do is step through the door and make good shots.
Well,
how good was that, Ron?
That was a big-time shot. He stood up to the challenge.
Doug Kent playing a little bit further right than Lonnie Waliczek. His ball reaction's better.
Reminder, coming up next, Battle Lines. Ali Frazier won. That was quite a battle. That'll be coming up next right here on ESPN. Or log on to ESPN.com. That's the situation right now. Lonnie Waliczek in a 35-pin hole, but Doug Kent can add to it. Can go up by 45. That's right.
It's a hook.
Get over. Get over.
Still coming. Still coming. Let's stop short.
Doug Kent's ability would allow him to play where Lonnie Waliczek is playing. He can throw the ball. He can play the big hook ball. He can get in there with the big boys and really arc it. But you know what? He decided to play further right, and right now it's paying dividends. Maybe to the tune of 120,000
leaning to the right.
dividends.
Well, he doesn't like one of the pins. It's leaning to the right, he said. So now they're going to have to go out and check it. See if he gets the re-rack. There it is. He's right. Well, it's sitting on the board. You can see just on the seam of the board there. And it is leaning to the right. Well, it needs to be respotted.
A little worn spot there in the back end part of the lane. And a lot of times that's what happens with wood lanes when they go to get resurfaced. Sometimes the resurfacing job isn't quite as even as you would like.
All the mechanics, a hand comes out, puts it down.
Modern technology.
Modern technology. Oh, smiley face does it again. A spare in the 8th for Doug Kent, holding on to that 35-pin advantage.
Lonnie Waliczek can strike out 8th, 9th, and 10th to shoot 203. Doug Kent going at a 208 pace.
This is where Doug Kent said that, you know, confidence of already winning a Masters back in 1991. He said, being in this situation, when it comes down to the 8th, 9th, and 10th, that is where it pays off. But Lonnie Waliczek must strike.
There you go.
First.
Good shot there.
Never give it up.
Now, get this one in the 9th, and we'll see what happens.
At least, you know, Johnny Petraglia was saying, no gimmies, no freebies
No
here.
gimmies, no freebies. Not for the championship, the World Championship title. 7-pin, last one to go down. Make him work for it. Strike in the 9th frame. This match is still up for grabs. But Lonnie Waliczek must strike here.
He was hoping for a break. You see the reaction of Amy, his wife. That's been frustrating for him.
Lonnie, if Lonnie makes his spare, he could strike out in the 10th frame to shoot 183. All Doug Kent has to do is mark with good count in one of the 2 remaining frames.
Well, he does pick up the spare.
Hey, but you know what? We talked about it, the grind, the conditions,
That's
how
right.
difficult it is. There's no freebies here, no gimmies. You got to make the shots you need to make to win. Nothing's free.
And the pressure has just been building on Lonnie. He has had such an excellent run this week, but now it shifts over to Doug Kent. Doug knows the situation he's in, but he has to feel a tad more comfortable right now, holding on to that advantage.
Ooh, and you saw right there what happens
Yep.
with pressure on this pattern, this lane condition, almost leaving the 2-8-10. Caught a great break there. This is no give me spare either.
We've seen guys miss it the entire week. He still has the advantage. Needs a mark here in the 9th. Ali Frazier coming up straight ahead on battle lines, immediately following our telecast from Toledo.
Doug makes this. All he has to do is keep it on the lane in the 10th frame. He's your winner.
Well, that's the big sigh of relief for Doug Kent, who's just moments away from being crowned world champion. That's all he needs, folks. 4 pins to shut out Lonnie Waliczek, and $120,000 will be his. World Championship will be his. And he says if he wins it, the confidence will go up about 2 or 3 notches.
This ball should be straight and hard right down the middle of the lane.
Down the gun. Oh, he needed 4. He got 10. We've got our world champion for 2002. It is Doug Kent as he has defeated Lonnie Waliczek. We'll be back to Toledo right after this. Now the final score, it was all Doug Kent. 215 to 160. He wins it. He joins the names of Don Carter, Johnny Petraglia, Earl Anthony, and Walter Ray Williams. Our world champion for 2002, Doug Kent. He's with Leslie Goodall.
Doug Kent has been overcome with emotion, and you won a major, but not this one. How does world champion sound? How does $120,000 sound?
Wow, how does it sound? You know, this week, coming into this week, I felt so comfortable, but you never put yourself standing up here holding the trophy, and I am absolutely out of words. I don't know what to say about this yet. It hasn't sunk in, but I am absolutely, I'm on cloud 9 right now.
Enjoy the money and enjoy the title, Ron.
All right, congratulations to Doug Kent. Just a reminder, coming up in 2 weeks, we'll have the Battle at Little Creek coming your way from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Coming up next on ESPN, joined in progress, Battle Lines, Ali Frazier won. For Randy Peterson, Leslie Goodall, and everybody here in Toledo, Ohio, I'm Ron Thulin. Thanks for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.